Beautifully thin headlights, almost 500 horsepower, and super fast charging. What's going on, guys? Bijan here. So if you want to know everything happening in the car world, all of the secrets, well before all of your friends and family, go ahead, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to know everything about Audi's new A6 e-tron, stick around until the end of this video. Audi released a new concept at the Shanghai Auto Show, the A6 e-tron. It's going to be a sportback, has some pretty nice features. Now, it is a concept, which means this car is not the exact car that we are going to get in showrooms and on the road. But Audi did say that this car will be 95% similar to the concept that they showed at the auto show.
Oh, I'm Vincent's brother.
We're twins.
That's right.
Audi is bringing back an old trend, having a chassis and then being able to modify it for different cars in the lineup. They're calling it the PPE, Premium Platform Electric. Essentially, this is the chassis of the car that they're going to be able to use and modify slightly for different e-cars in their lineup. Now, I think this is a genius idea because when you look back at trucks from, 50s, 60s, 70s, you have a tube chassis and some other cars from that era. You basically have a chassis and you drop the body onto it. Now, if the body is damaged, you repair the body, etc., etc. But if you're able to keep that chassis and just put different cars on top of it, Audi is going to save a lot of money in production, which hopefully some of that gets passed on to us. Now, if they're just going to pocket all that difference and make their money, then, it's good for them, but not as good for us. Now, this A6 e-tron is going to be a liftback. I wish they would make a wagon. It would be so much nicer and it would appeal to a lot of the buyers that are now all moving over to SUVs. It would bring some of that buyership back to Audi sedan or wagon lineup. As an industry, this is where cars and trucks are heading. We're going electric, full electric, a lot of performance EVs, so a lot of really fast 0 to 60s. And as a market, a lot of people want that utilitarianism of having an SUV. There's a lot of demand for SUVs, but the market has not yet caught up. We're not seeing a lot of electric SUVs. By creating a sedan that's big and electric, it pulls in some of the buyers that want an SUV and want it electric, but don't really have many options or can't find what they're looking for. Now, this e-tron will not replace the A6 series yet. It's going to be run alongside that series. Now, we don't have any photos of the inside, but from some of the reporters actually being at the auto show and seeing inside the car, they say it's very similar to the A6, but because you don't have that big engine in the front and transmission behind it, we're able to have a lot more room inside of the cabin of our cars. So even though the size of this e-tron will be roughly similar to a regular A6, we should have a lot more interior space. Now let's get on to some of the specs of this A6 e-tron. Now, 470 horsepower, awesome. All-wheel drive, it's Audi, of course, it's going to be all-wheel drive. And all of their PPE cars will have 800-volt charging systems. What does that mean? Essentially, with 10 minutes of charge, you're going to get 186 miles of range. That is awesome. We are heading in the right direction of being able to pull up and fill up your car like you were with a regular gas car. And they are expecting 5% to 80% charge in roughly 30 minutes. And it'll have around a 400-mile range. 400-mile range is amazing. Now, I've said this in other videos, we are advancing and starting to fix some of the issues of the early gen electrics. Now, what we need to catch up is infrastructure. We need more and more charging stations. The more people that continue buying these electrics, the more charging stations that will pop up. Now, I hope they don't replace E85 stations with electric charging stations because I still need to put ethanol in my Evo. Audi headlights and taillights are very recognizable. They seem to kind of lead the pack as far as look and LED technology. Now, using matrix LEDs and OLED technology, they are able to construct these tiny, thin, beautiful headlights and taillights while still meeting all of the safety requirements to be on the road. I'm very curious to see how this e-tron is going to handle, because if Audi is moving from that big front engine, heavy transmission to battery packs that are mounted very low on the chassis and create a great center of gravity, your weight is down low and evenly spread across the chassis. So this car should handle very, very well depending on the suspension. Now, I could not find any 0 to 60 figure from Audi, but if we look at some of their other e-tron cars, we can probably roughly estimate and be pretty damn close. Now, if we look at the RS, that's going to be around a 3-second 0 to 60. I don't think it's going to be that aggressive. But if we see Audi's launch control and see their other e-tron cars, I'm guessing this car will probably have a 0 to 60 time of around 3.5 seconds. Now, That is amazing. If we compare this just electric Audi A6, it's not even an RS6 or anything that crazy, to previous generation Ferraris and Lamborghinis, we're seeing the same 0 to 60 times. That's going to be it for the news. I'll see you guys on the next one.